Life is short. Wake up before it's over. Buddhist wisdom. Take a breath with me. Just one breath. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're waiting? Waiting for the weekend. Waiting for the right moment. Waiting for life to truly begin. We live as if we have endless tomorrows stretching before us like an infinite road. But is that really true? I want you to imagine something with me. Picture an elderly person lying in a hospital bed, their hand trembling slightly as they hold a photograph. In that photo, they're young, vibrant, full of dreams. And in that quiet moment, a thought crosses their mind. Where did it all go? Not with bitterness, but with a kind of gentle wonder. How did the years slip through their fingers like water? Or imagine a child standing before their parents' photograph on an altar, candles flickering softly. They're thinking of all the words they never said. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Simple words, really. But somehow, there was never enough time. Or perhaps they believed there would always be more time. And then there's another scene. A successful person, sitting alone in a beautiful home, surrounded by everything they ever wanted. Yet something feels hollow, empty. They achieved the dream, but somehow, the dream wasn't what they thought it would be. I'm not sharing these images to make you sad. I'm sharing them because they point to something profound that we all sense but rarely acknowledge. We're living as if we'll live forever, even though we know deep down that we won't. So I want to ask you something today, something that might make you pause. Have we been letting precious parts of our lives slip away simply because we believed tomorrow would always come? And is there an ancient wisdom, a way of truly seeing, that can help us wake up while there's still time? Let's explore this together. Not as a lesson, but as a conversation between people who are all trying to figure out how to live fully before it's too late. Over 25 centuries ago, the Buddha uncovered something hidden in plain sight. He called it anicca, impermanence, the ceaseless arising and passing away of all things. He used simple images to help us see. We're like dewdrops on grass in the morning, here for a moment, sparkling, then gone. Or like bubbles floating on a stream, seeming so real until they vanish. In the Yara Sutta, he reminded us, "Short, alas, is this life. You die before 100 years. Even if you live a little longer, you still die of old age." But he didn't want us just to understand this intellectually. He wanted us to feel its urgency. He said we should practice as if our hair were on fire. If your hair caught fire, would you wait until tomorrow? You'd act immediately. In the Araka Sutta, the Buddha recalled an ancient teacher's words and affirmed them. Human life is brief and fleeting, filled with difficulties and challenges. This wasn't meant to frighten us. It was an invitation. Wake up now, do what truly matters, live with awareness. Because no one born can escape death, but we can choose how fully we live. Yet look at how we live. No one knows how many days they have, but everyone lives as if they'll live forever. We exist in what the Buddha called pamada, heedlessness, like being asleep while the sun shines. We tell ourselves we'll schedule that health checkup next month. We have an argument and think, I'll apologize tomorrow. But tomorrow brings new distractions. Someone sends a message, and we think, I'll reply when I'm less busy, until it becomes too late. The Buddha saw this pattern clearly. In the Dhammapada, he taught, "Heedfulness is the path to the deathless. Heedlessness is the path to death. The heedful do not die. The heedless are as if already dead." You can be breathing, walking around, going through all the motions of life, but if you're not truly awake, if you're living heedlessly, you're missing your own existence. So let's get honest for a moment. Let's look at the specific ways we waste this precious, brief existence. Not to judge ourselves harshly, but to see clearly. Because you can't change what you can't see. First, we linger in anger and resentment. Think about this. We'll spend days, sometimes years, holding on to anger towards someone, replaying old arguments in our minds, nursing grudges as if they were something precious. And all the while, we're not protecting ourselves. We're slowly poisoning our own hearts. The Buddha understood this deeply. In the Dhammapada, he taught that when you let go of anger, when you release pride and stop clinging so tightly to your sense of self, that's when freedom arrives. When you stop holding on to these chains, suffering begins to fade. Here's what I've learned through my own struggles with this. When someone hurts us, when we feel wronged or betrayed, that anger can feel justified. It can feel like we're standing our ground, protecting our dignity. But pause for a moment and ask, who's really carrying the weight? Is it them, going about their life? Or is it you, day after day, holding this heavy stone in your chest? Second, we chase competition and comparison endlessly. Here's something I've noticed about the way we suffer. Often, we're not unhappy because we truly lack something. We're unhappy because we're constantly measuring ourselves against others. Always comparing, always trying to be more, have more, achieve more than the person next to us. The Buddha called this tanha, craving. He described it like a creeping vine that keeps spreading through our lives, making us wander endlessly, always searching for the next thing that will finally make us feel complete, finally make us feel like we're enough. But here's the truth about that vine. It never stops growing. You satisfy one craving, and two more appear. You get the promotion, then you want the corner office. You reach one milestone, and suddenly there's another one calling. The finish line keeps moving further away. And while you're chasing, comparing, trying to prove your worth, life is quietly passing by. Third, we scroll mindlessly, losing the sense of being alive. You know this feeling, don't you? You pick up your phone just to check one thing, just one quick look. Suddenly, an hour has passed. You've scrolled through hundreds of posts, watched countless short videos, absorbed an endless stream of information. And when you finally put it down, there's this strange emptiness inside, a kind of quiet confusion. What was that hour for? Where did it go? The Buddha taught that living even one day with clear awareness and wisdom is worth more than 100 years lived without them. Because a scattered mind, no matter how long it exists, has already lost touch with what's real. It's already wandering in a kind of dream. Here's the truth. Your attention is your life. Where it goes, you go. If it's constantly being pulled into screens, into endless streams of other people's carefully curated moments, into content designed to keep you hooked, that's where your life is going. Not into your own genuine experience, not into real presence with what's actually here. The Buddha taught something called Indriya Samvara, guarding the sense doors. When your eyes see something, When your ears hear something, stay aware. Don't let yourself be swept along unconsciously. I'm not saying abandon technology or throw away your devices. Just notice what they do to you. Notice how you feel after an hour of scrolling. Are you more peaceful? More centered? Or are you more scattered, more restless, more vaguely anxious? Fourth, we hide our emotions. Love unspoken, gratitude unexpressed. How many words of love are sitting in people's hearts right now, waiting to be spoken? How much gratitude goes unexpressed, locked away behind walls of hesitation? You think, I should tell them how much they mean to me. But you don't. Maybe it feels awkward. Maybe you're afraid of being vulnerable. Maybe you're waiting for the perfect moment, the right words, the ideal circumstance. But here's what I've come to understand through loss and regret. Some opportunities arrive only once in our lives, and they never announce themselves as the last. They don't come with a warning sign saying, "This is your final chance to say what's in your heart." In the Metta Sutta, the Buddha taught, just as a mother would protect her only child with her life, even so let one cultivate a boundless love towards all beings. Think about that kind of love, fierce, protective, unconditional, holding nothing back. Now imagine holding that love in your heart for someone, a parent, a friend, someone who changed your life, and never telling them, never showing them, never letting them know they mattered. Don't let that be your story. So what does it mean to truly wake up? Let me be clear about something. It doesn't mean running away from life or becoming a monk. It doesn't mean reckless pleasure-seeking either, just grabbing at every momentary experience without thought for consequences. In Buddhism, waking up means becoming aware that you're alive, truly alive, rather than letting old habits and unconscious patterns run your life on autopilot. It means choosing, consciously and deliberately, how to be in each moment. And for this awakening to take real root in your life, the Buddha emphasized samadhi, right view. This is the foundation that everything else builds upon. Not blind faith in someone else's truth, but your own clear understanding of how things actually are. In the Majjhima Nikaya, he defined it. What is right view? The understanding of suffering, the understanding of the origin of suffering, the understanding of the cessation of suffering, the understanding of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. This is called right view. It means seeing clearly and honestly that suffering exists in our lives, that this suffering has specific causes we can identify, that it's possible for suffering to end, and that there's a practical path we can walk to get there. When you begin to see life this way, everything shifts. You're not just reacting blindly to whatever happens anymore. You're understanding the deeper patterns at work. This right view illuminates what the Buddha called the four foundations of mindfulness, Satipatthana. In the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, he called this the direct path for the purification of beings, for the overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, for the destruction of suffering. Let me put this simply. Pay close attention to your body and how it feels, to your emotions as they rise and fall, to the quality of your mind in each moment, and to the patterns and rhythms of life itself. When you do this with genuine, sustained awareness, something remarkable happens. You start seeing the truth of yourself and the world, not as abstract concepts, but as lived reality. Peace and meaning aren't hiding somewhere else, waiting to be found. They're right here, woven into this very moment. When you practice this way, something profound opens up inside you, You don't just understand anicca, impermanence, or dukkha, suffering, as abstract Buddhist ideas in a book. You begin to feel these truths directly in your own lived experience. And most importantly, you start to see anatta, not self. This might be the most freeing insight in all of Buddhism, though it's also the most difficult to grasp at first. Anatta means there's no fixed, unchanging self or permanent soul within this body and mind. The Buddha taught in the Samyutta Nikaya that form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness, all these things we habitually think of as me, are not mine, are not I, are not myself. You exist, yes, clearly, undeniably, but not as something solid and unchanging that stays the same from moment to moment. You're more like a river, always flowing, always moving, never holding the same water twice. What you call you is really a continuous process, not a fixed thing. When you stop clinging to the idea of a permanent self, when you begin to release what was never truly yours to hold, there's such deep relief, such unexpected freedom. All that constant defending, that endless protecting, that exhausting building up and maintaining of me and mine, it falls away. And you realize it was all based on a fundamental misunderstanding of what you actually are. Now let me make this practical for your daily life. 3 simple ways to begin this journey of awakening. First, each morning ask yourself, if today were my last day, what would I do differently? Not to create anxiety or panic, just honest, gentle reflection. You don't have to change everything immediately or make dramatic decisions. Just notice what comes up when you ask this question. Maybe you'd reach out to someone you've been thinking about. Maybe you'd speak words you've been holding back. Maybe you'd spend less time worrying about small things and more time savoring what's actually here. Let that awareness gently guide your choices throughout the day. Second, before you get angry or make an important decision, pause for one conscious breath. You don't need years of meditation practice for this. You don't need to be an expert. Just stop for one moment. Breathe in, fully knowing that you're breathing in. Breathe out, fully knowing that you're breathing out. The Buddha taught this simple practice in the Anapanasati Sutta. In that brief pause, something subtle but powerful shifts. You're not suppressing your anger or pretending it isn't there. You're not trying to make it go away. You're just not letting the emotion immediately grab the steering wheel and drive. You're creating a small space between the feeling and your reaction. And in that space, wisdom has room to enter. Third, if you love someone, say it. If you miss someone, reach out. If you want to do something right, do it now. Some moments in life come only once. They don't announce themselves as the last time. They don't carry warning signs or give you advance notice. They just quietly arrive and quietly pass by, and sometimes they never return. This isn't about being impulsive or acting without thought. It's about recognizing what truly matters in your heart and not endlessly postponing it. It's about living from compassion and from a real understanding of impermanence.